You'll hear it's the song, but
Okay.
it's like art that goes with it too. You'll see afterwards. 7, 6. er. Whoa! Good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Goth Yearbook After Hours. Is our host as always, Eric, aka the Eric Wynn, and with me as always is the hostess with the mostest, Caitlin, aka the Caitlin D. Caitlin, how is it? Phoenixing? I didn't think of any one for this week.
There was such a big one today, too. It's Tiny
Oh!
Cowboy Hat Day.
I even wrote a note to talk about it. I didn't even think to use it as the intro thing. You're right. Oh shit, I fucked up. Yeah, why don't you tell the people what we're celebrating today?
Well, so I woke up to a really nasty text from someone that I who will not be named. I will not name them. But so I was like, am I going to be in a bad mood today? But then I was like, no, because I am connected to God and I am God and nothing can keep me down. And I went for a little walk outside with Prince. And as I was coming back into my house, I found nestled in the grass. Should I grab it?
Yes, please. For the listeners at home, Caitlin is grabbing something off the screen and she's putting her headphones back on. She made it.
I found the tiniest of little tiny cowboy. It's a little red tiny cowboy hat, and
I cannot, for the listener who's listening to the podcast, it's the tiniest little red cowboy hat a person could ever possibly imagine. Think like the smallest one, and it's even smaller than that.
So what's really wonderful about this is that
it's twofold. There's actually many.
There's so much more. So I think it was like around the beginning of quarantine, and I think it might have even been you. I don't think you remember this conversation, but I used to, like, for whatever reason, just imagine Prince wearing little cowboy hats in my mind. And I would even like pretend to take them off and put a different one on. And like, it's just my own insanity. And I actually I have like some like small cowboy hats, like very miniature size, this size, saved on my Etsy account that I never ended up buying because I was like, Caitlin, get a grip. You can just use your imagination, you know?
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Some imagination, huh? And today, the gods decided to just like rain a little gift upon me. And it was this tiny little cowboy hat. And, you know, it's not much to manifest as far as dreams go. But it is one of those like little things that just keeps you going, you know? And then it became not so little because then as soon as I actually like started, I couldn't put it on Prince until after I got home from work because this morning he was like, in the morning, he's like as if he has a job at like the stock market to go to. Like he gets up out of bed and he like eats a couple kibbles, like slams them down, slams his coffee down, and is like, open the door. And it's like runs out the door and just like shoots off down the street. I don't know where the hell he has to go so early, but like he's gone. And so like there was no way I was getting it on him this morning. But then when I got home from work, I was like, all right, I just gotta give him some time to settle down. We played a little fetch, and then as soon as he came in for sleep time, it was perfect because I also was doing this Instagram live stream with our friend of the show, Susie Moon, who's going to be a guest on the show next month, or possibly the end of this month. But she's an awesome rocker chick, and she's doing this show that's like showing pieces from your closet, and it's about style and fashion. And I'm like, me personally, I don't know how fashionable I am, although I'm like waving my feather sleeves around tonight. But Prince now has his first wardrobe piece, so I got to show that off in the Instagram live stream at the very last minute. And
no way.
Yeah, nice. So it's been a day of whimsical fashion and just delightful, magical manifestations. And so I have deemed today, March 4th, for eternity, and I put it in my Apple calendar and set the year alert to yearly as an all-day event. It's a holiday. It's Tiny Cowboy Hat Day.
I love it. I just like the idea of it like coming up like you getting a reminder a week ahead of time and you're like asking the day off work. You're like, I've got a personal religious holiday I'm taking.
And I mean, this is the dark part about it, but it's like in 2 days is like the anniversary of when my mom died. So, and then it's like her birthday next week. So it's just like maybe it's a coping mechanism. Maybe I'm trying to add a little brightness to the month of March. I don't know. Either way, nothing has brought me so much delight as this tiny little cowboy hat. So I'm sorry if I would feel so bad if someone like saw my Instagram. They're like, I dropped a really tiny cowboy hat like in Silver Lake.
You just like block them.
I'm like, I haven't seen it.
Like clearly it's on all your stories. You're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Just gaslighting them.
Speaking of Prince, one other kind of like little thing I want to get into real quickly. We haven't done a dream chat in a while, and
we did want to do a dream chat.
I did want to do a dream chat because I dreamt about Prince Charming, Caitlyn's cat. Yeah, okay. To set up the scene, it was it's actually a really fucking weird dream, but I had bought in essentially what was like the Winchester Mystery House, and it was super like, you know, it was one like it was a house that was like built with like rooms that go to nowhere and staircases that lead to like cabinets and shit. And there was like so many animals all around, and somehow my dream, I knew there was like one cat that like wouldn't like stop following me, and it was I just like, you know, in your dream when you just kind of know, and I knew it was fucking Prince Charming, and there was like no humans in the dream. It was literally just like me hanging out with all these animals, but then like me and Prince were kind of like the buds, and we were like walking around like the property, and it was kind of like a stressful dream because I kept trying to like follow the staircases up to like where they wouldn't lead and opening the doors to nowhere and all this shit. And but Prince was my guide through it, and he was like a little beacon of like safety in it. But isn't that
I love
crazy?
that. That is crazy, especially because like specifically because I dream about that. No, I haven't had any dreams about Murph, but I would say probably it would be like a conservative estimate to say at least 80% of my dreams have my cats, whether it's my alive one, Prince Charming, or whether Dinah's in them or her daughter Baby Spice, but like and a huge thing of it is them following me around. And I think part of it is like, a big part of it, sometimes I'll have stress dreams about like the apocalypse and just like, or like some natural disaster happening and like needing to get out of my house really quickly and not having my cat carrier and sort of depending on them to follow me for me to be able to like get them to safety and like travel. And then and I've also been like wanting to move lately, and a big part of like the hang up about that is I'm always worried because he has like the perfect setup now and it's like his territory, and I open my front door to backyard. It's like wonderful, you know. Yeah. And like so I get really paranoid about that, and like, but I'll have these dreams where I'm like living in an apartment complex that I feel like I could never live in, but like he's just like walking around taking the elevator up and down, and like he's got it all figured out, and it's just like no problem. So it's really funny that like you now are having these dreams where these are
beacons of light, these cats.
I feel like he is one of those cats that if I were to like take up some sort of Goof Trooper style RV life, like he would just follow me around because he does like come and I don't know, I like that dream, but I have zero idea what it means.
Me neither. You know, and I've been trying to be a little bit more the way that you do it, where you'll think of like specific words and be like, well, what does this word mean? Like you'll like kind of bubble out to like 10 other words and see like where maybe there's like some sort of synchronicity or this or that. And I couldn't find it for that particular dream, but it was a fun dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do think that there is something definitely about, you know, the house, like that's usually, or I shouldn't say usually, I should say maybe like classically or traditionally, but like in a lot of dream literature, they'll say the house or like a car. It's maybe in reference to your physical body, or even or to your mind. And I don't know, this isn't really our dream interpretation cast,
Yeah.
but I will say that you know, there's definitely something to look at there as far as like what the stairs that go to nowhere. That's like a powerful imagery. Like where what you know what obstacles are you like going through in your daily life? Like I see a staircase as like it's a bit of an obstacle, but
Yeah.
it's like a bridge from one place to another, but you have to ascend or descend, you know.
Also a great tool for killing two women, apparently.
If you're an owl.
Yeah. We can't even get into that. We'll have to save that for another time because I feel like that was my third agenda topic for the intro, but we don't have time to get
Yeah.
into owl
Well,
chat.
I do briefly want to say that I am actually probably in April, and I'll be announcing more about this on my personal Instagram, but I'm doing sort of a rebrand relaunch for my like private healing practice, and part of that I really want to do is a dream circle where it's going to be like a Zoom call and it's going to be open to the community. It's probably going to be donation based because I want it to be pretty casual, and we'll do better jobs of interpreting them than what you just saw, because I won't be like sweating thinking about our guest sitting in the waiting room
Yeah.
and trying to switch gears into interview mode. But I personally think that dreams are like this amazing door to all these things in our subconscious, and also like really great for leading us. I follow my dream guidance all the time. And besides that, it's also just a great way I think for community to come together, because it's such a like primal practice that we've left in history, at least if you're not like part of an indigenous culture. But the practice of like getting up and talking about dreams with like your community and your families, there's something really special about that and sacred, and so I want to bring it back, bitch. And
Hell yeah.
it's also really fun because you start to have like group dreams, sort of like you dreaming about Prince Charming, and Prince sort of serving the same mode for you that he serves not only in my dreams but like in my life, as he like follows me around.
All right.
So stay
Well,
tuned for that.
yeah.
There'll be more on that. Hit me up if you're interested so I can like, I don't know, put you on a list.
The dream list. Hell yeah. Real quickly before we do get to our guest tonight, shout out to our Patreon, patreon.com/Goth Yearbook After Hours. Check it out. We just dropped we're going to drop tonight at midnight the Grace Jones episode. And before that, of course, we just did our MTV one. Super fun. Get into it. There's so many more awesome ones on there. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to ask our guests to unmute themselves and non-video themselves. I don't know how you'd phrase it, but
Come on down.
Yeah, coming to us live from Southern California. We got Phoenix Askani joining us this evening. How's it going?
Hey guys, good. Having a good night.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
How are you?
We're good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't know. I shouldn't speak for both of us.
No, it's Tiny Cowboy Hat Day. I'm having a hell of a day.
I loved that, by the way, that little story. And what a cute little cowboy hat that is. It makes me think of Toy Story. And you know, I just love dreams and dream interpretation. And I lucid dream, so I was just eating all of that up. So
what do you like to do?
Yeah, go on, Kaylin.
What do you like to do in your lucid dreams?
I fly a lot.
Hell yeah.
I always got to be flying.
That's my go-to too. I'm not able to lucid dream super often, where like sometimes I'll be like, I know I'm dreaming, but I can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
But when I do have a little bit of control, that's definitely my go-to as well.
Yeah,
I loved it. Sure. Right when we started recording, my cat's like, I'm gonna play with the ball right here.
What do you have you had like any good one? Not even just lucid dreams, but like have you had any good recent dreams this week? Ones that were memorable that you had to write down in a journal or anything?
Oh yeah, I had this really I guess I'll put it as vague as I can. So I was like casually dating someone, and we decided to just be friends and just kind of just change the dynamic, as we weren't wanting to pursue something like romantic. And I really like value that friendship. And after having those conversations, I had this dream that I was at my wedding, and it was from my perspective. And for some reason, it was like really opulent, and I don't want that. So I was like, why is it so like just fancy to like, I've never really thought of like what my, I've never been like a Pinterest bride type person, nor have I ever been engaged. So it's irrelevant. But like in this dream, I'm in this like insane like ballroom, and I'm walking around like looking for something. And then suddenly I come upon a table, and this guy is at the table surrounded by all these like hot models that I know, like other porn girls, like, other sex workers, actresses, just like people that I know from different points in my life, but they're like all like kind of like fawning over him. And I just kind of look at him like, hell yeah. And then I go, hey, do you have a light? I really need a lighter for my joint. And I'm holding this like giant like baseball and it's like, it's like the bridal joint, and it's like in my
I see your Pinterest page, just like giant for your
and I must have been like stoned before bed and like just like thinking about, I'm so glad that we like worked this out. And so in the dream, he pulls out a lighter and he lights my bridal joint, and it's like this figurative fist bump. And and I told him about it, and I was like, I want this to be real. Like I can totally see you as a guest at my, should I ever get, it was my way of saying like, I can see you as someone that could be like a fixture in my life, just in this other capacity.
No, I think a great way to break up a casual dating relationship is to tell someone that you think you can totally see them as a guest at your wedding.
I mean, honestly, technically he was the one that gave me like the gentle letdown. So I have like a little bit of a rejection kink, so that was fun for me.
Well, that's closure at least. But I'm totally gonna use that the next time I want to take someone down a notch. Be like, you are gonna be the best guest at my wedding.
It's like some Carly Simon shit right there.
I love that.
I liked at the very top you were like, you're like, I want to be vague, and for some reason I started thinking about you being vague at the person, you being like, let's just call him G Clooney.
I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything about him at all. It's just yeah.
I've been having
someone that knows me will know who it is, but
that's okay. Well, I say that's okay as if like I'm like running your social life. I don't know if it's okay or not.
You're like, it's fine.
I'll let it slide.
It's literally fine.
I keep having dreams about Paul Rudd.
Oh man, I hooked up with this guy who was like a B version of Paul Rudd. Like and
Paul Bud?
It totally did it for me, though. I'm not gonna lie. He totally ended up sucking, like really bad as a person.
Yeah.
But like we had one really good time.
He probably gets way more pussy than he deserves just because he's like kind of resembles Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he kind of has this everyman thing going, but in like a particular way.
Yeah. Paul Rudd, I think he's interesting because like Paul, I've been on a bit of a hunk tip, and like,
excuse me,
a bit of a hunk tip.
Like,
I've been on a bit of a hunk tip.
Are we getting horny this early on?
Yeah, I think we are. It's because I'm wearing my horny outfit.
Sea demon.
That one.
But the past like year, I was telling Eric about this. I used to never care about body type with guys, and I still don't necessarily, but like I just was like at one point, I'm being very picky about who I want to hook up with lately, obviously, because of quarantine. So it's like you gotta like really do your, like filtering more so than I used to, because I'm like naturally sort of slutty, but I'm being a lot more discerning. So I was like, if I'm gonna be so picky, it's hard enough. And like honestly, guys who are good looking and like really fit and buff don't treat you any better necessarily, like by the book, than like guys that aren't, don't take good care of their bodies. And I take really good care of my body. I work out a lot, blah, blah. So I was like, I'm gonna only go for dudes that are like 6-pack, biceps, big boys, like whatever. And I had my fun with it and it was great. But I was wondering if these Paul Rudd dreams, because he's not that type of guy. He's not like a hunky dude, He's not like built and like
No,
big,
he's fucking
whatever.
Mike.
He's funny. He's like funny and charming and sweet, and he's like a little like he's like Prince Charming, my cat. He's just kind of like he gets you with the smile and the eyes. And
He's always kind of like smirking too, like he gets it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, maybe my psyche is like, Caitlin, it's time to get off the hump tip. I don't know, because they didn't make me laugh at all.
Hump tip.
I will say that. They gave me more than the tip.
We did get a lot of questions. Do you guys think that we should get right into them?
Let's go for it.
All right. Did you get any yourself that you wanted to throw out there first, Phoenix, on your end?
I mean, these are pretty tame.
Some of ours are tame too. Feel free. I mean, a question is a question.
Someone asked what I listen to when I work out.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, right now it's been a lot of health.
Oh, that's good.
I always listen to Korn when I work out.
Korn.
Especially if I'm doing cardio.
What do you do for health?
What's health? Huh?
What do you do for health? Like where do you listen to them? Like what part of your workout? Because for me, that would be like a weights thing, like health.
Yeah,
like
weights for sure. Weights or body resistance. And I do a lot of like free dance sometimes as my workouts, but also just to like move energy through my body. And I miss shows so much, and I miss like it's like keeping me sane. And it's the reason I didn't put like a kitchen table in this new apartment, because I was like, okay, I have all this open hardwood and I have a bar and I live alone. So I either eat at my couch or I eat at this bar so I can have a dance floor. And that was the choice that I made because I moved during quarantine.
That's
a good choice, honestly.
So I customized my new apartment to my current lifestyle. And then like, eventually when I begin hosting people again, I'll get like a fucking table that can seat more than 2 people.
Well, because then you'll be able to like go dance at a club or whatever.
Right. But it's honestly been so amazing. Like this backdrop is literally just blocking my kitchen right now. But everything behind my writing desk is where I just jump around like a crazy person. It's great. But yeah. Lots of Korn issues for sure. Also, like, how can you not want to just like? I know we're gonna get into other like horny topics, but like Adidas and Freak on a Leash, like when you're working out, just like those endorphins.
Yeah.
Right.
Solid.
Caitlin, what about you?
Well, I most of my workouts are either yoga. I swear to God. Yeah. So I either do yoga, which is like I do power yoga, which is like I do like a live stream basically, so it's like guided. I'm not listening to music. Or when I do go running, I'm one of those weird masochist people who usually honestly doesn't listen to music, because if I'm running, I'm like going through some shit and I'm almost like pushing it's like when you sit in your car and you don't listen to music, you're in like a mood. Like when you're just silently in the car, like driving, and like your thoughts are that big that you're just like, there's no room for anything to be coming in. So I'll do that. Or like, I don't know, sometimes I'll listen to music, but it's usually random. But honestly, more often than not, and this is embarrassing, so I am showing a side of myself, I will listen to those these hype up what's his name, Joe Dispenza, running meditation,
nice,
like you are running to your higher self.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
like, yes.
I just started listening to one of his audiobooks, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, I think is the name of it. Something like that. So that's fucking awesome. I love that.
Yeah, he has these running meditations on YouTube. I think they're like under walking meditations, but some of the music is like more upbeat. But it's so funny because like sometimes I'm paranoid about people hearing what's in my headphones because he's like, now you're going into the void. The way he talks is so ridiculous. And like I feel ridiculous when I'm doing it, but also my moods are so much better like after the run, and I do feel like habits changing and stuff. So like that, I really believe in brain chemistry shit, and he's a great teacher. So if I'm like not listening to music, that's what I'm listening to usually. And if I am, it's usually so random. I don't have any go-tos. I
Those
know
are
that's
affirmations. That's all about the
Yeah.
neuroplasticity going on there. That's
yeah. And
exactly.
while you're raising energy, and when you were talking about free dancing, I actually my grandmother passed away this past week, and like I haven't done a lot of, I know I should be dancing. I keep getting messages from my subconscious that are like, dance, Caitlin, you stupid bitch, do some dance classes. But I also like I don't have really a space to dance, and so it's like I'm always like rolling over my bed and like you know like doing whatever. But after she died, it was funny because I was like, and she was 103, like has been out of it for years, so it's not like the saddest story in the world. But I rest in peace, grandma. And
Shouts out.
shouts out, Mary. But I did like that night, like go and light a candle for her. And I was thinking about her, and I was thinking about the memories that I do have of her because we weren't super close. But I also think it's really important to honor your ancestors. And I was like, all right, you're like moving into this other side. I want to open this channel because maybe now that like you're past, we can have a different sort of relationship because through dreams and through the spirit channel, and like help me get some parking spaces and you know like whatever, do your magic, grandma. And I actually put on, she was Irish, and I put on some Irish music and like felt so compelled to like dance out that energy, and it was so great, and I could like feel her presence. And I was surprised because I actually like didn't even remember what her presence felt like until I was like dancing and listening to that music. And that's not something we did or anything, but it was just something very like ancient in myself. And I was like, cool. So I appreciate that you brought up free dancing because that is like a great exercise practice. Eric, do you free dance, and what do you listen to?
No, is it like when the Irish music? Are you doing like the Lord of the Dance, like Michael?
Yes, I just was moved to the fucking river dance.
His legs flail as if independent from his body. It's a little deep cut Chandler for y'all. I don't free dance. I do, for me, weights and cardio. You know, I don't really ever change the playlist of the stuff I listen to. It's always the same. It's just like a random mix of like hardcore metal, like Hatebreed and shit
For
like
some
that.
reason, I'm like disappointed. I'm like,
Yeah, it's just that's the stuff that. But then for running, like exclusively hip hop because I need something, or
wait,
electronic music because
rewind.
What?
Okay, which Hatebreed albums are we listening to?
Oh, fucking like I'll literally.
Are you over here like perseverance?
I feel like this got brought up on this fucking show before too. Let me see if I can pull up my playlist right now. In fact, it's specific songs.
I did picture this, and it's great.
I mean, it's mainly stuff from like, okay, so it's mainly stuff from like Satisfaction. It's like older stuff, but it's just I don't even like listen to it. I just need something that's kind of like there that like feels aggressive in the moment. And then for running, like it has to be like hip hop or electronic music. I need something that like has like a steady beat, or else like kind of like what you're saying, Caitlin. Like it's so fucked up, like how your brain like you'll get so in the zone something that like if the rhythm like gets like kind of thrown for a second or kind of goes and wavers off, like I feel it like actually affect my body if I'm like really in the zone and like listening with like pods on or something like that. So I need something that I know is gonna be kind of like has like a consistency to it. Not the most fun answer, but
yeah,
it is true.
I know it's sorry, I know it's super lame too, but I also spent a lot of time listening to like my own mixes when I was running too, because like you're so focused when you're running, and like so I could hear like everything in the mix, and I would actually remember the changes I wanted to make and stuff. So it was like kind of useful.
Someone wanted to know. I got some questions over here as well. What's the funniest thing that's ever happened on a set?
Oh. I don't know if I can rate like the funniest, but I'll go with like the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
That was goofy and awkward. So I did a scene for Burning Angel with two guys, and there was, I think they were supposed to be like, we were in an art class. That was the setting. It was an art class. Okay. All right. So we're in an art class, and I'm the figure model. And so I've got just like a little robe, and I'm supposed to be nude modeling. And there's just a room full of extras plus two performers that are actually going to be the people I'm working with. And I had to like ask around for friends to like, hey, you guys want to come like make $50 and like leave before I get fucked? Like, and so like a few friends showed up.
They're like, do I actually get like credits for my art in college for this?
A few friends showed up, and like a couple of which were even like other performers, so it was like not so weird. And I'm comfortable and I'm an exhibitionist, but there's certain situations with certain friends where I'm like, maybe it would be cool if you didn't like objectify me without me like knowing, like, or something. There's like a certain, there's got to be a line like somewhere, you know. I've had friendships with guys and where they were like platonic friendships, and then I found out they were like in love with me, and their girlfriend caught them jerking off to me every day, and like I've got emails from mad girlfriends. They're not even mad at me. They're like, can you just confirm that there's nothing else going on? And I'm like, I'm doing nothing. I'm so sorry.
Damn. Yeah.
That's rough.
And they're like, the browser history is just onlyfans.com/Phoenix Askani. Just like,
delete your browser
I
history.
feel bad laughing, but
That's
I'm
not
like,
the lesson here.
I've had multiple friendships end this way.
Yikes.
I don't know how we got here.
We're in
Art
our class.
Yeah.
Our art class, not our history.
Funniest thing that happened, I think was just the awkwardness of everyone being there and having to be like pretend like we're like in high school or something. I don't know if this is funny so much as sad, but when I was still newer, I had like a amateur scene of sorts with this gentleman who came over to set and could not perform. Essentially, he couldn't stay hard, and he kept like sneaking away to the bathroom to like presumably watch porn on his phone. And this is after my very willing attempts to assist him in his performance.
Damn.
And it was just getting weird. And the director, who was also the videographer, because it was a much smaller set, sometimes you have, a lot of people, and sometimes it's a very tightly closed set. And he just whispers to me, like, I think this dude's fucking, like not into pussy or something. Like, I don't know, like, what to do. Like, I feel like I might need to, get someone else here. Because essentially what happens is if you can't replace a performer like quickly enough, you end up having to call it, and then someone ends up getting like a kill fee. It hurts everybody.
Yeah,
more or less. It's not fun. And then you either have a reshoot situation or a lot of time and or money wasted. And he ended up, like, I think eventually being able to make it work, but that was like the most uncomfortable thing. And then after, the very long struggle, we had to do what I call Skinemax, which is when you have to film softcore.
Oh, like
and filming
navel
softcore,
to navel.
You have to do all this. So everything you do in porn to like show penetration, the videographers or directors are telling you to remain open to the camera. Everything is very exposed. That's why some positions you see aren't as like realistic as you might want to do in real life. Like, not everyone is doing cowgirl like this, like off of a couch. As I display that for everyone at YouTube. But like when it comes to this scene, I think it was like we had to do spoon position or something else, and it's just his flaccid dick like slapping on my ass
Rough.
as I'm laying there like, we're almost done. And you know what?
You're like, yay.
I've enjoyed so many, and people have asked me like, does it feel like this guy on a dating app the other day like opened opened the conversation when I decided to be honest about the porn stuff. He's like, so like, does it feel like work? All that my cat's trying to come in. Does it always feel like
Aw.
work, or is it like fun sometimes? I'm like, well, it's a job, but yeah, like there's sex involved, so pleasure can happen, but like it's also
Uh-huh.
still a job. Like,
Yeah.
Your
you know,
cat is so cute.
Your cat
that
kind of like blends in with like the background image thing too.
I know. I was gonna
and
make a camo joke, like
Yeah.
what cat?
I'm sure there's three of them, and then there's a foster also. But I don't like to admit that because then I feel like I seem super psycho. But like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Eric has like 12. I swear, every day I talk to Eric, he has like a new animal in the background that I didn't even know he had.
I'm like, I
Um,
have three cats. I mean, I have two questions.
I just like
whatever you want to hear.
I like the because maybe there is some male talent who are into men, but they're in that scene. Like they show like back in the day when like you'd see a movie and there's like the animal trainer on set who like they're off camera trying to like get the. I just like picture like another guy like off set like still in like that sort of like safari outfit, but like being like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm hot, I'm hot. The guy's like getting all excited, like, okay.
He was dating a woman in the industry, and like I don't care what his sexual. I have would
Well, yeah,
not have been offended by his sexuality being
yeah.
that wasn't the issue. It was just like it was just such it was
Yeah. It would be funny too if like what if his kink was just like he had like it had to be clowns or like like he had to be like there had to be a fish somewhere, and so he had to just like go to the bathroom and like watch like fish videos or something like
It
There's
sounds like a fucked up
sorry.
Sinatra song. It had to be clowns. It had to be clowns. Okay. Someone wanted to know what's the strangest gift you've ever received from a fan?
Strangest gift I've ever received
Yeah.
from a fan.
Or best or worst, wherever your mind takes it.
Oh man, I've actually I'm like there's some pretty cool shit. I think because of my name being an X-Men reference, I just sort of drew a group of people called comic book fans. And so at porn conventions, I would often meet people who were both comic book and porn fans, and and they would bring me Phoenix action figures. Like I have so many. Some I have duplicates of. My ex also got me a ton of Phoenix and Jean Grey stuff. Like I just have so much of it. It's like coming out my ears. And I've had people get like stuff on like the Amazon wish list thing used to be really huge. Some people still do it, but I don't really like promote it anymore because it kind of feels weird. But every so often, people would buy me like dildos and lingerie and stuff like that off of there.
Oh, is that what people? You see the Amazon thing, like they always say, like, oh, you'll see everyone like promoting their Amazon thing, and I thought it was like literally it would be like there's like, oh, I want like this robe. I was looking to get this book, these
Right, it's
batteries.
like a way of tipping me, but also like if someone say wants to order like a custom photo or video or something and they want me to wear something specific that I don't own, I can add it there and make sure that they don't get my address essentially.
Yeah.
Or do the PO box thing. But and then I've had someone this was really cool actually. I just remembered this. He brought me like a shit ton of Chicago athlete autographs.
Oh, no shit.
Some of them were like older. I don't remember all of them. It was like like stack of 20 of them, and they were like Blackhawks, Bulls.
Hell yeah.
There were a couple Bears players in there, but it was like spanning between like the 80s and the early 2000s.
That's nice.
And
Like very thoughtful.
yeah, it was really thoughtful, and it was like I think that there was like one or two that he knew I was interested in, and then just sort of like threw in all these other ones just because like here you should have these. And I've had a lot of like that where I'm like, oh, you're just like pretty sweet, and I'm grateful for the ones who I've been using this name or been this alter ego has existed since I was 19, essentially, so like 2009. I had to think about that first. I was like, ish, somewhere around there, 2009 ish. And some of these people have been around since then. Like I still see the same username. There's one guy that wishes me a good week on Twitter every week.
Nice.
Every week. I think he does it to like 20 other porn stars, but it's really cute in like a psychotic kind of way. But I appreciate him still.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm like, you have a good week too, man. I'll see you next week.
When society crumbles and like there's only like 2 people left on Twitter, like he'll be one of them.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just hope you're still having a good week even through this apocalypse. I like it. I dig it. What is, sorry, taking a second to pull back up here. What's the weirdest thing a guest has ever done at your house?
Oh my God.
I think I said housed. House.
Oh, the weirdest thing a guest has ever done at my house.
Yeah.
I'm like going between answering it super honestly and like like my current house or which one?
What's the
Any
first
house,
one? What's the first one in your mind?
The first thing that came to my mind was when an ex was really drunk and got out of bed and started to stumble toward the closet, and I heard a sound that sounded like peeing, and I jumped out of bed and I grabbed him and I pushed him toward the hallway, and he was trying to pee in front of the mirrored closet.
Oh no.
I have done that before, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Yeah, many years ago, back when I was like this like crazy drinker. In fact, one of the times was in New Orleans when I went there, enjoying like the fucked up like Mardi Gras shit, and I came back to like basically like I was like pissing into my fucking suitcase, not just like into the closet in the hotel, but like specifically into my suitcase, like standing as if I was like at the fucking toilet, just like all my clothes for the trip. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, now I'm getting a clearer picture of why you got sober.
Yeah, no shit. That was a good day.
Oh no.
Caleb, what about you? Do you have any memories of anyone doing some crazy or fucked up thing at your house? There's so many. I have like a Rolodex of like weird shit probably that people have done like as guests when I was younger. Yeah. It's so hard to even like pull like in a specific one now.
None of mine are that funny. Like I'm pretty sure one of my old roommates who was a kleptomaniac stole my mother's wedding ring that she left me out of my bathroom.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Holy
like a
shit.
diamond ring. And
Holy
it's one of those
fuck.
things that like she's not gonna admit it,
Yeah.
So but it just was gone one day. So that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking about your last question, and I was like,
I didn't even think that if you've had a fan give you some fucked up shit.
I don't have as many fans, but we did get when I was in Pipe Dreams with Jana Jordan, we did get this guy that wrote a he sent us a message, and he was like, it's both fucked up and funny, but he was like a fan of Jana's, and then like he was a fan of the bands, and he sent us this message that was like, oh, he sent it to like our email, and he was like, I wrote something, I want you guys to check this out. And I kind of like ignored it for a long time because I was like, I don't want to read someone's short story, you know, like I'm not an editor. Like, and then I opened it and I was like, oh my god, this is like the best thing I've ever read. It was like a 10-page short story with pictures included. It was honestly the creepiest thing I've ever read too, because it was pictures included of me and Jana and Jamie, and screenshots from our Instagram lives, and also a satellite image of Jamie's house at the time.
Holy
Like a
shit.
Google satellite image, which I don't know how he knew where her house was. But he also lived in the UK, so it felt a little less like immediately dangerous. But the story was about me and Jana decides, we're like at band practice one day, and she's like, Caitlin, I really have to tell you something. I've been keeping this from you because I think you're gonna judge me, but like, I just have to tell you because like you're my best friend. And I was like, what is it, Jana? Like blah blah blah. And she's like, I just really want you to execute me with a French guillotine. And I think that would be like the best way. It would be like superior to any orgasm I've ever had in my life. It was like this whole erotic story. And then in the story, I was like, oh my God, Jana, I can't believe you just told me that, because I too want to be beheaded. And like, I want to die by machete. And so we like arranged this thing. And I think maybe the guy who wrote it was also in it. And he was like, no, girls, I can't do this to you. And we were like, please, please cut our heads off. It'll be and you have to film it, and it'll be the most orgasmic experience in the world. And then like, yeah, like the story goes on from there. You can imagine how it ends.
I'm not okay.
But
I have a very vivid imagination. And by the way, okay, this is not like in a negative stir the pot way, but like, I don't know, is it Jana?
Jana, yeah.
But we're Eskimo sisters.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I know this because I was in the gray area with this dude that at one point, because he would like tell me, like we would kind of like in a weird way to make each other jealous, be like, yeah, fuck this person.
I'm beheading this
and like
other
at
woman.
one point he was like, you guys had like a show or something, and like I don't know, he had hooked up with her that week, and he was like supposed to go to the show and then didn't, and came and like fucked me, and I was like, oh, you could have gone, like.
Well,
anyway,
yeah, sweet.
It was many moons ago, but I always thought like, man, why do you gotta pit like what, like the, especially sex workers, like why you gotta pit us against
Totally. And what's so funny about that too is like, I you know, whether it's Jana or like any sex worker friend I've had, I'm probably 10 times more comfortable having like whoever I'm dating around them. Like I would have way rather had like a threesome with like Jana than I would have with like a
You could have just
random
introduced
girlfriend.
us.
Well, yeah, but because I felt like there's so much better like boundaries around sex with sex workers, and like understanding of like, oh, like if I'm dating someone, they might have sex with them, but they understand that that's just sex, and they're not gonna like use it as some like weird manipulative like power struggle thing. Like maybe if it was some random friend that was like, ooh, like I can use sex for this, it's like naughty or something, you know, it kind of like deflates all that weirdness out of it. So I don't know. Yeah, it's stupid for when men try to pit women against each other, especially if they're sex workers. Just like good luck with that. Like, it's like they don't fucking care. I mean, not, you know, not to like universalize or like whatever, but
Right.
But yeah, that was my fun. Didn't happen in my house. Fortunately, no one lost their head. But that that band did go out in a blaze of glory. So we definitely did a lot of fucked up things in other people's houses, but I can't think of anything that anyone has done in mine that was super fucked up besides like barfing, or honestly it's mostly just been me, like the stories that I'm thinking of, so I don't really want to tell them.
I know I was gonna say when I was way younger, like high school, I know I used to do fucked up shit. Not like stealing or anything like that necessarily, but like if someone was like throwing a party at their parents' house, like I would purposely like move stuff, like move pictures around and like shit like that when I was drunk,
Oh,
like fucked
God,
up shit
what
like
a
that.
nerd.
Yeah. But well, that just those like tiny like little things, like tucking something into the parents' bed or something like that, like finding like a statue or something and then like tucking it in with like the head on the pillow for the parents to find when they came home, like just stupid shit like that.
You're
Kinda
like
like
the
a
evil
narc in a
version
weird
of
way.
Dwight.
Yeah.
You're like
Um,
resetting their thermostat. You're like, that'll show them.
I was just a little baby boy. All right,
Mess with the clocks. Take
Yeah,
batteries out of
That's
them.
That would
a
be a good one.
Yeah.
I would take batteries out of all the remotes.
oh, that's cruel. That's honestly fucked up.
Okay, too far.
What is the horniest text? The horniest message you have either sent or received on a dating app during quarantine,
Horniest message I've sent
or received on a dating app, and they said quar, short for quarantine.
I'm like, is this person trying to get me if it's there?
And they're like, and was it mine? And can you rate it?
And can you respond?
I'm like, hold
please?
on, let me see.
They're like, actually, it's like one
know,
that she sent. They're like, it was fucked up. My lawyers will be calling.
There were a few that were like pretty good. Maybe not.
No. Come on, we could tell by that one that there was a good one in that bunch.
That I'm realizing that a lot of it was like not. It happened in texting after initial, because I always like once I'm like hitting it off with someone, I'm like, let's not give them any more data. Like let's just go to the other place where they're looking at our data.
Like let's go to the Amazon comment section.
Come back to this question.
Okay, well we'll bookmark it. We'll circle back to it. Let me pull up my questions.
I have the weirdest feeling that it's like literally someone doing detective shit.
Well, I mean,
or
maybe
just random. I don't know.
It's someone
like horny texts aren't even that like interesting. Well, maybe they are.
It depends on the message.
Text, I feel like the horniest like text quote unquote that you can get is just like someone calling you 5 times or something at like 1 a.m. You know?
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, like, granted, like, COVID aside, this, you can't approach stuff the same.
Yeah.
I hate having to like put on those little disclaimers, but this guy had this attitude of like, what are we doing tonight? And it was just like the way that it was verbalized, like that energy, that sense of urgency is still hot, even though I was like, yeah, but like not actually.
Where are we gonna go watch the fucking city burn down right now? I like it.
But I like that sense of urgency is kind of hot.
Someone wants to know, what is your all-time favorite teen movie?
Favorite teen movie?
Like movies that have teenagers in them?
Maybe they're probably like a Can't Hardly Wait, or like a teen movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's fucked up.
I feel
no. I didn't mean like that. Edit.
Oh, Lord. Edit. Edit.
We'll
fix that in post.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I feel like it's probably a tie of some sort between Fast Times and The Craft.
Nice.
Those work.
Dude.
And Heathers.
Heathers is great. Heathers is an all-timer.
Wait, hold on, I have a lot. I'm like, okay, anything.
Fast Times. I like it still holds up.
I love Fast Times.
Yeah. It still has like even though like there's a lot of goofy shit in it, especially the stuff with like Judge Reinhold, like there's like a real gritty, real fucking vibe to it. Like it feels like high school, in like a more real way, even if it was like at this point like 40 years ago. And a fucking killer soundtrack.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll always be a diehard Clueless fan as well.
Yes, that's
Hell
my
yeah.
all-time
I'm
fave.
I'm very like Mean Girls generation because it came out when I was like 16.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater, and I
But
still remember being like blown away by it.
I still feel like I love it. I'll still reference it, but the older like Heather's is like I said, another like huge one for me.
Mm.
Um, it tends to be stuff from either the 80s or the 90s that I resonate with more.
It's cheesy, but I bring it up on the show all the time. But like 10 Things is to me like for like the more like cheesy
Oh, how
romantic
could I
ones.
forget?
That's like for like it's still so like Heath Ledger. Like I always say this, but like you see a fucking like star literally like born on the stage. Like when he does like that song routine, like I want you.
You
I know I
love
say it every
Heath
time.
Ledger in that movie so
I don't
much.
even like give a shit about like someone's like, yeah, and what about Joker? I'm like, I don't give a fuck about Joker. Give me 10 things I hate about you, Heath Ledger.
I can't
That's
believe I forgot that one, especially after I was like just being nostalgic about it not that long ago, and I only posted a million quotes from it. But, oh, I love that movie.
She's
So
All
much.
good.
That was also one of my faves.
Yeah.
I just revisited it recently and it fucking it's such a wacky fucking movie, but it's so great. Matthew Lillard as like the dude that's basically he's like Puck from fucking Real World, but he's like a different kind of guy, and it's so that performance alone is like Academy Award worthy in my opinion. His like silver pants and shit.
I just love that they like really perfected the trope of like hot girl who takes down her ponytail and takes her glasses off. And it's like, what? She has huge tits too? It's like, well, she always did.
There another like underrated aspect to that movie is like Paul Walker, who's like basically the villain of it, like one of the villains, and he's like such an asshole in it. And he does like this acting when like she's around and he's trying to be like good boy Paul Walker, and he like changes his voice and everything like that. It was cracked me up. I just revisited it like a week ago, and in those scenes he'll be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, are you like jacking off on her pictures? Like, that's so weird, man. Like his voice goes all high and he gets all like self-righteous, and it just it's I guess if anyone would look at that and be like, oh, okay, that's how he, like the nerdy girl who's supposed to be like so cynical, as if she would like buy that. But in that movie, she also falls victim for the same sort of like flip floppy kind of mindset. But teenagers are also fucking stupid, so
Yeah.
it all tracks. Someone wanted to say or ask, striking out on dating apps with men, any advice?
Striking out on a dating app
You made
with
such like a
men.
like
Was that me? Did I?
that noise you made was so like amen, girl, amen. Oh shit.
Oh.
Phoenix,
So-
any advice for our friend out there who is striking out?
My first bit of advice is trusting me with this question is a bad idea. However, okay, you know what? That's okay. So I'm queer or pansexual, so I don't just want to speak in like a heteronormative terms, but I pull a lot of I have no problem on dating apps is what I'm trying to say. So maybe I can offer some advice. During COVID, it's much more like difficult. The standard protocol for a lot of people is either like on their profile or it's like, hey, like let's meet up with like masks and you show me your, I show you my test, you show me yours. Hey, I got my vaccine card. Like everyone's got like a different thing going on. My number one piece of advice, if there's like anything I've learned like to be very serious in the last like 10 years of dating is to arrive as yourself from the beginning. And secondly, to not repress and just see how radical candor feels.
Yeah,
Because
that's good.
I have had so many experiences where like if I had just said what I wanted to say sooner, I could have, or vice versa, like if we had just cleared the air on something or like established some clear boundaries earlier on, something could have worked out, or there could have been a friendship, or it could have continued in a different dynamic. And so many problems just stem from like a lack of communication, or just communication that isn't, you know, happening often enough, or isn't, you know, clear enough. And if you start with this, you know, we all want to like kind of, maybe not everyone, but some people, even if you're like confident, you know, everyone I think has insecurities, but you might want to put up like some sort of facade or like protective shield of like not quite letting someone in all the way right away. You're still kind of like figuring it out. But even in the messages, I just use witty banter, and I'm myself, and I expose that I'm quirky and like pervy, but like also very wholesome Midwest girl. Like I paint the picture of who I am just through conversation, and usually it's like, what's your fucking number is like the response I get. And
That
I'm just like, hold on, maybe, like but yeah, I think being yourself is, as cliche as that may sound, is the most important thing, because then later you don't have to backtrack and
mm,
realizing that this person was just projecting or seeing like some idea of you
Yeah.
rather than who you are.
And like I am absolutely all about that too. I'm one of those people that like it's very it's hard for me to put up a facade, and so I, and almost to a fault, sometimes I'm too anxious to like paint a picture of who I am, and then it just comes off like really aggressive, you know. But also at the end of the day, that's still who I am, you know. So I if someone doesn't reciprocate, like you know, if or someone's not interested in that, then like cool, I know early on, and I don't necessarily have to like go through the whole through some like fake connection that will later, you know, end up disappointing. But I had a therapist recently tell me, and this is like very basic, but it's also one of those like just so true things that, you know, if you are feeling rejected, might be some solve, you know, to that. But he was like, yeah, like finding, because I am looking also for partnership right now. And so that also adds a whole different layer of like when I was casually dating, it was so much easier because I was just like so open to like whoever someone was. But now it's like my things I want are very limited. And
your cowboy
but
hats you want are so tiny now.
it's just the tiniest little cowboy hat.
Oh, well, how long can you balance it?
We'll see. Um, but he was like, yeah, finding like a long-term partnership is just basically getting your heart broken over and over
Yeah.
and like putting it back together until you find the right person. And I think people forget that, you know, I think people forget, and I know I certainly do, because I take rejection to heart so much. And especially if it's like, even if I meet someone, I can't take myself seriously right
She
now.
went. We had 40 seconds.
um but even if like I will, even though I know like I could meet someone tomorrow, you know, if I just swiped enough, or if I just like whatever enough, but like I'll like meet these people and I'll convince myself in my head that it's like so special and so unique. And so like if it doesn't work out, I get so disappointed, and I feel like it's just this like catastrophe, and I feel like it's really not, you know, cuz like it took me 48 hours to meet that person, and in 48 more hours or 2 weeks or however long, like there will be another person that maybe it won't work out with. And like really the exercise is just being willing to do that over and over. And if you are getting rejected, like take, you know, look at what was happening. If something was inauthentic about your interaction with them, learn from that. Don't be like, why am I like this? Just be like,
No one
oh
will ever love me.
yeah, like that's a lesson.
That's not the
And
energy.
no, exactly. And just like get back on, get back in the saddle and
Tiny cowboy hat day.
get your heart broken again, partner.
Heartbreak Hotel.
I saw a quote recently that I'm probably gonna butcher, but it was like, falling in love is being prepared to be completely devastated, or it was something like that. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like there's a
Yeah.
part of me that I'm really grateful that like even in times when I've wanted to turn cold and bitter and just be like, I'm just gonna be heartless and just fuck like a machine and no one's gonna get to my feelings, no commitments. And then I realized I was actually just becoming softer and cracking open even more with every like weird heartbreak. Even if I like fucked someone else up, like I ended up like later dealing with like my. I honestly, when I was younger, I was like I was not the nicest always, and a couple dudes really sucked, and I've had a few like I've had several long-term relationships between like 18 and 32, and I learned something different from each one, but it's a lot nicer to look back on that and realize I don't have to keep repeating the same things over and over and over
Yeah.
again. I'm really liking this whole 30s thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so I can just take note of that and then maybe like change the pattern.
Yeah,
It's a
totally.
I've both been hurt and I've cheated, I've been cheated on, been in I've been in so many different dynamics. I've tried open relationships, I've tried like I've like I've just had so many different something ships. So yeah.
It's that can be like a lifelong thing, not just like even relationships, but like just learning to see the pattern and changing the pattern, or changing at least like your reception of the pattern, maybe changing like being around a pattern. It can be like a lifelong kind of battle, but I do feel like there is something about like your 30s, or like when you start getting to like a certain age where you feel like you're kind of drifting away from like the mindset of like your younger, maybe more like quote unquote like party or whatever self, that does like start recognizing that, and it does free up so much. I feel like even if like you don't immediately get rewarded from it or find like what you might want, you still like there is something that you feel deep inside where you're like at least like at the very least like like what your boundaries become or something like that, which in itself can be like so rewarding. When like I feel like so much of, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone, but like so much of my teens and 20s was like not even knowing what my own boundaries were, like just constantly, and then thus like getting hurt so often or hurting others because it just was such a weird concept for me to even think about, because I just dealt with so much of my life being like, I just thought that like we all hurt each other. Like I thought that was just it. I didn't know that I was allowed to like say like, hey, don't do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah. How can someone honor your boundaries if you don't know them or know how to communicate them to someone else? And we can only, and we can only have our own. We can't create them for other people. We can only hope that they, respect them. And then if they don't, we have the choice to, either warn them or cut them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also like the last thing I'll say too is like being genuinely curious about someone and finding out who someone is like in any, whether it's dating or friendship or business, it's like anything that is going to like get you so much further than just trying to like beam to them who you are constantly, or
Yeah.
like being so focused on how they're receiving you and just like making assumptions about who they are. Like ask them a question and don't ask like what their favorite, what is the Toma Girls was like, kept posting like that girls, their opening lines to him on Bumble kept being like, what's your favorite type of bread, or like something like that. Like ask like real questions,
I don't like the question game on there. They keep adding all
No.
these dumb things on dating apps. They're like trying to make it a video game. It feels like one with your swiping.
Yeah, ask them like when their last relationship was, or like if they have siblings. Like these are like very basic questions.
Who gives a
but
fuck if
also-
you like Ezekiel bread that's in your fucking freezer right now?
But like they're so much less superficial than being like, oh, what's your favorite? Like just like something stupid that you think is quirky. That's also, it's those things are really just deflections from like real, actual getting to know someone. I don't know.
Fuck you,
This
Bumble.
girl sent me,
Fuck you.
what do you usually get in trouble for as a kid, or what did you usually get in trouble for as a kid?
That's a good question.
And I'm just like, why you couldn't say hi first?
That is very
Her first
intense.
question.
That is intense. I
And
could
like,
open
I
up
was
some fucked up shit.
yeah, like when people throw like real stuff at me really fast, I'm like, I like getting there, but sometimes it's just hey, like hello.
Hi.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
I was
how's
having
your
a good day.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that was the first question, but also to answer that woman's question, I actually used to get in trouble for going into chat rooms and pretending to be an old man.
Caitlin, I thought you were gonna say for emailing dads.
I mean, mine's similar. It's like would get off of Zanga, MySpace, and I would just sit there and play The Sims until 4 a.m. And
I got in trouble also for I would which is funny because I have an OnlyFans now, but like because I would take like pictures of myself in my bedroom, but I would be like 8 years old and being like on my bed like all like sexy.
I forget if I told this story before, but when it was 8 actually. My mom, she'd gotten like AOL, like when AOL was on the disc, and it was like the first time that like the family had like a computer like in our house, then we could all use it. And she was showing me because she had like someone at work had kind of shown her like the basics. And she showed me a chat room because my mom was like all like, she didn't know. She's all wholesome. She's like, look, you can, like, she thought it was like ham radio. Like, we're going to talk to someone from who knows where. And someone was like, I'm still laughing about this. Someone was like, hey, what's your name? I was like, Eric, what's yours? And they're like, Samantha or something like that. I'm like, how old are you? And I strip go, I'm 8. And you just see like the chat has ended. Which looking back on now, and that was a fucked up lesson for me to learn because I immediately like in my head, like I somehow bookmarked that as like, oh, lie about your age online when you're a little bit older. But that was
No, I would straight up go into chat rooms and say I was like a 43-year-old man playing with my dick.
that's
dude, kids
that's
have,
so funny.
Curious perversions. That's very
You know what's so funny is
I
like
was a
I'm
dirty
so
kid.
many all my friends who are like of like our age bracket, like from our generation, all like went and did shit like that. So like, they always say like, oh, you're probably just talking to a bunch of like old men. It's like, I think we were just all children talking to children.
Oh my god, it's not even true, but it's so much more wholesome to think about.
Yeah, then
that,
like the Woody
it's
Allen
just
being in there.
Well, then like actual pedophiles
Yeah.
being on the internet. It's so wholesome to just think of like a bunch of 12-year-olds in trench coats. Like
I definitely talked to way too many creepy dudes on the internet when I was
it might have been me.
probably.
I'm 43. What was your like credentials when someone asked you? Be like, I pay a mortgage.
It's like I'm a psychologist, and my name is Warren.
Warren, that's good. I'd love to see like the chat log just to see like if it was obvious, like just right out the gate, like, oh, this is like a child, or if you were able to like, where it's like that might be a 43-year-old, because there's a lot of dumbass fucking adults. Just look at the way they talk on Facebook. You're just like, I would never guess that you were fucking 45. Seeing some like people's post on there, like the Craigslist ads. It's easy
Well,
to not know what your ad is.
Actual boomers actually kind of write like their children.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they'll just like post just like all caps and like a lot
no
exclamation points.
punctuation. Yeah, emojis everywhere.
My mom's Facebook posts are the best. She's like, look, another sunset.
My mom does that all day, every day for real. She'll
It's
be like,
so wholesome. I love it so much.
it'll be like it'll be stuff like that all the time. It's like so dramatic. It'll be like, you guys, ever since I moved to this town, I cannot, and I repeat, cannot stop looking at this tree. Look at this maple. It always throws me for a second because she always starts it so like it's like a State of the Union address.
Meanwhile, her son is posting like indecipherable memes with like cryptids and like new wave song lyrics about like mental health problems.
Yeah. Oh man, if she actually like went through my Goth Yearbook once and like saw the shit I post on there, like I wonder what she would like think, because I can't explain like what layered memes that have like built up over the last 10 years. Like you can't explain that to your mom. So she'd just see it and be like, I don't get it. Like eating ass. Like what? Okay. Okay. we do have a quiz, but it's kind of a short one. So I do want to give time for one more kind of Dear Abby question that someone sent. They said, how do I get my boyfriend to be more adventurous in the bedroom?
Oh, easy. Talk to him.
Ooh.
Well, it's actually it's not that easy because it's
Simple but not easy.
yeah, it's simple but not easy because you have to be able to, be a little vulnerable for a moment and I would say like wait for a non-stressful time if possible, a relaxed setting and we're all like at home. So like maybe, think ambiance or whatever.
I like the
Not
idea of
like
like a
when
stressed
like
moment.
he's like super hungry and he just walked in the door.
And not while you're in bed.
Yeah, and not in the middle of sex necessarily. It could be like beforehand. I think it's actually really sexy to talk about what could be better when you're not doing stuff. And I actually did this with someone while we were clothed. We were kind of like saying like, oh yeah, like what if we did doggy like this, or I put my legs this way, and I was like changing different things with heights, and we were just kind of rolling around and laughing like fully clothed and talking about stuff that happens while we're having sex. It did eventually lead to sex, but
That's
but
wholesome.
it's something that can be, it's something that can be really fun, but a great way to communicate while not having the pressure of like you're not under performance at the time,
Right.
or like, oh no, are they about to come? But I was whatever. But you might want to have a few ideas of what you would like to try. You can either watch porn or grab some books. You can show I have a bunch of like position books. Like occasionally I'll, even if I'm feeling like, I don't really ever feel like my imagination needs more, but like I'll flip through them every now and then just because they're entertaining. But honestly, it's all about like being in the moment and just trying new things with your body. So maybe just say, hey, I'm interested in doing this, this, and this, but what if, would you be open to trying them, either at a later date, or, it doesn't have to be like scheduled, but just maybe get the interest or the consent. You can even go if it's like something related to like kink or BDSM. There are these awesome, I don't remember the website offhand, but there are these awesome like PDFs that exist online. If you just Google like or BDSM limits list or checklist, you can print out like an interest list and gauge on like, yes, I've done this before, or this is a hard limit, or I never want to do this, or
Oh,
I have to have this.
yeah, yes, I know what
And
you
then
mean.
you
Yeah.
share them with each other, and it's like a fun way of like going through boundaries and interests and stuff. And if it's something just like I want to try anal, or I want to see if he'll do a threesome with me, then it's just like, hey baby, will you please fuck me in the ass, because that would turn me on. Say that. Or hey, can we invite somebody? Or like sometimes it's just about removing the block in our throat and in our chest and just saying the thing.
Mm.
So face that fear, but do it like clearly and respectfully and lovingly and stuff.
I
Yeah.
like the idea of someone like printing a document to like spice up their love life.
I don't know if this is what.
Maybe that's something you do like on your own if you want to like, investigate. That's more for if you're like really new to those concepts and you just kind of want to go through and see what you're even willing to do. But some people are down to hinge.
Totally.
Yeah,
No,
I don't.
nice.
I don't know if this is like what your Tom Phoenix, but like I do know, I used to see it on Reddit a lot and like FetLife, and it would be like a color coded sort of thing where it's like, that's the thing I'm thinking of, where it's like a list of like all things, and it would have like receiving or giving, neutral, and then you also had like these colors that went with it where it's like absolutely need to have, all right, would be interested, and then all the way to like hard limit no, and it's like everything. It's everything from like freeways down to like fucking like diaper play and shit like that. It's like and everything in between. Like I've seen it like for the last like 10 years, I've seen like an evolution of it, like going
Yeah,
on,
absolutely.
which is funny to imagine two people like printing it and then like going to like different sides of the house. Like, I'll fill out mine, you fill out yours. And then,
Honestly, I would do that because I'm a nerd. But
yeah.
if that's not for everyone, I get it. But I think if you're gonna approach someone about wanting to try new stuff, know what you're willing to try. Know what you're like, and if it's like, oh, I want to try spanking my girlfriend with with a flog, or I want to get a crop, or it's something that's involving an implement, like do your research. And also, I've never hit anyone with any thing, even including my own hands, without testing it on myself first to like know at least an idea of what that impact feels like.
Oh, oh,
Not to assume that it has to be a kink thing, but like if you're trying to branch out, like please do so carefully.
this actually is a good segue. Caitlin, I just sent you the quiz if you want to start pulling up. But before we get to the quiz, this is actually a great moment for me to quickly tell a story that Phoenix kind of got like the cliff notes on. But a long time ago, I naturally kind of like lean like more like Dom, but like I was kind of like talking to someone online a few years back, and she was kind of a dominant personality, and dominant kink for her was to like get guys to like hit themselves in the dick, basically. Like that was like her thing. And but we like had like really great chemistry. So like, and I was, like I'm curious, I'm adventurous, so I was like, sure. And she was texting me, and to be fair, this was like long ago enough that I don't really remember the like preamble to this moment. So I don't know like if she kind of said like jokingly, not knowing that I was going to do it. So I don't want to like blast her and have people be like, oh, she's not like really good about like asking about your limits and all that. She might have just like thought that she was being cute in the moment, but like she was talking about like, oh, like get yourself hard and like hit yourself as hard as you fucking can in the dick, and then send me a picture of it. And I was like, okay. And I did it, and I hit it so fucking hard that this fat like red welt, it was huge. It looked cancerous. Like it looked bad. Like it looked like like immediately. And I'm talking about like it immediately like swelled up to the point where like I got really kind of nervous almost. I sent her the picture, and like I thought that she was gonna be like, good boy or something like that. And immediately she's like, are you okay? She like dropped all like heated pretense up to that moment, and was just like immediately was like, oh my God, are you okay? I was like, this is not good.
Yeah, that sounds honestly kind of dangerous.
It was incredibly painful. Shouts out my D. Sorry, buddy. But with that being said, I did send
you didn't ask what my advice would be.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
I'm just kidding, because my advice is my go-to advice for every single question of this nature. Solves every problem. Email his dad. Just email his dad. Send his dad an email. Subject line, hey, body of email, empty. Never say a word about it. Your sex life is gonna get spiced up one way or another.
What time of day or night does the email get sent at?
Oh, it's gotta be after 10.
Okay. Yeah, like a good like 11:05 p.m. like kind of email.
Hey.
Yeah, subject hey, but the body is empty, so it's just like the possibilities are endless there. Just opening up something.
If you want to change the dynamic of your relationship,
real fast.
Dad at night. Okay. No, don't actually do that. I just think it's funny that advice can encapsulate like every problem. Just
yeah, you brought up for like how to deal with like a mother-in-law.
It's like we get one question per episode that answer can apply to. And it's never good, never to good results, but I just always think it's funny. All right. So we have a quiz that for some reason Eric has stopped administering the quizzes altogether, and now I am the only quiz master, and Eric just plays with his phone for the next 10 minutes.
Responding to the fan, singular. No, I'm just kidding. They're fans. This is in honor of Tiny Cowboy Hat Day, though, this quiz.
Yeah, whatever.
It is.
Are you a true cowgirl? Sally wants to know, Sally wrote this quiz in 2014 on June 15th on a hot summer day.
Hell yeah. Probably first day of
so-
summer.
Yeah, first day of summer is the 21st. So Sally says, "Do you love?" I'm gonna be angry with you because I'm tired of you making me read all these goddamn.
I like it. You do the voices. You get all into it.
It's because you give me nothing. I'm just kidding. You run our entire technical side of the show. But I don't like when you immediately make me do the quizzes and then you're like playing games on your phone the whole time.
That's fair. That I can totally understand. I hear
Okay.
you, and I will not do it as often.
So sorry, Phoenix,
Baby
that you
steps.
had to witness our podcast
Mom and dad
therapy
fighting.
moment. Yeah.
Like a little cat fight.
Yeah. Our power struggle.
That's the power struggle. The
It's okay,
quizzes.
you had a resolution. You said you would do it at least less.
Mhm.
Okay.
Dr. Myers said that's improvement.
Okay. So, question one. Oh, sorry. So, do you love farming? Do you love to wear jeans and boots? Have you hot what it takes to be a true cowgirl? Take this quiz to find out. Okay, so 7 people like this quiz out of 25,727. So, those are pretty good numbers.
Yeah. Heating up.
All right. Number 1, did you grow up in a country town or on a farm? Only options. Born and bred on the land. Oh, sorry. Born and breed on the land. I moved a lot, but I have lived in a country town before. I have only lived in the city or lived in a country town most of my life.
I have only lived in a city.
Question number 2. What is your clothing style? I love to wear dresses and skirts with heels, PJs, jeans, t-shirt, and boots, or track pants, tights, t-shirts, and my trainers.
Track pants.
Question number 3. When you're I feel like you have smoked the bridal joint and you are just like walking down the aisle. Question number 3. When you're in the city, how do you feel? Cramped. It's way too crowded and smelly. I would rather be in the country. I love
Yeah.
it. City. Why would I go to the city? Or the shops and attraction are good, but I couldn't live there.
That's hard. I like the country, but I couldn't live there.
That's the opposite of the question. So
the last one. I was combining answers.
I'm
gonna go with the last one.
Okay. What are your favorite animals? I hate animals, cows, horses, working dogs. That's all one answer. Cats, little dogs, and fish, or dogs, comma, birds.
I like how there's working dogs, little dogs, and then dogs.
He's a working dog.
Working dog. That's really cute. Kitties. Kitties, cats.
It is crazy that dogs can have jobs.
Yeah. That's true. They like literally there are like dogs that just straight up fucking like work.
There are dogs bred for labor.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then Prince is the one just like getting up in the morning, just like slashing
Yeah.
aftershave on his face. Okay. Where would you rather hang out with friends? At home with a few cold drinks around the fire, at a packed nightclub, or at the local watering hole, aka the local pub?
Around the fire.
Oh shit. That's some cowgirl shit.
What would you rather drive? A little automatic, something small and cheap to run. I like to ride my horse everywhere I go. A motorbike or a ute. And then it says in parentheses manual. I don't know what a ute is. Yeah.
Someone in the chat, let us know what a ute is.
Something small and simple.
Okay.
Oh, it's like a sports car meets a truck. It's like a lift.
Well,
It's
The car I missed was like a Toyota Camry Solara, and it was basically a two-door sedan, so it felt like a fake sports car, but was like safe. And then
That sounds
Fair
like a
enough.
little automatic, something small and cheap to run.
yeah, it was a good car.
Are you? Oh, what kind of work what kind of work would you like to do? Inside, like an office. Work? Why would I want to work? Outside, doing physical work, or I like to alternate, sometimes inside, sometimes outside.
It's one of those kind.
Sometimes inside, sometimes outside. Very agreeable.
All right. Are you outgoing? Can you talk to people easily? I'm very outgoing. I like to start the conversation. I can be a little shy at first. I'd rather be with friends or alone, or I love talking to people.
I can be a little shy at first.
I can be a little shy at first, and then I never shut up.
We'll just put that one. Do you love the rain? Rain is great, but I can't stop to enjoy it. Too much work to do.
Incredible.
When it rains, I like to go inside and stay dry. Or I love the rain. I stay outside and stand in it.
I love the rain.
Blame it on the rain. Little
Do you
Milli Vanilli for you guys.
Nice. Do you think you're a true cowgirl? No, I'm a city kid. Kinda, as long as I'm not too far from the city. Yes, I love farming. Or, maybe.
City kid.
All right.
I like to garden, but I wouldn't last. I wouldn't last if you put me out off the grid.
Yeah.
Like,
Put you,
I'm not
put you to
prepared.
pasture.
I think that whole self-sustained life thing, that great idea, super hot, like people who are into that. I wouldn't make it.
Well, the test is about to determine it.
All right, calculating
Doodly
results.
doodly 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 doo.
You are a bit of both worlds. You like the city
Ooh.
and all it has to offer, but you also like the outdoors and the country lifestyle.
Boom.
Oh, I like that result for me.
Dixie Chicks are kind of like a half and half. That hat. Boy, oh boy. Well,
Cowboy hat. Sadly. No,
uh,
girl.
you're at least you're a cow poke. That's like that kind of half and half right there. Well, that is all the time we have this evening, but we did learn so much. What did we learn,
Yeah.
Caitlin? We learned about how to spice up a relationship. We learned about what are great gifts to send people when you're a fan, and so much more. But more than anything else, we learned that it is Tiny Cowboy Hat Day, March 4th. It will forever be known, and we will honor it every year, as it is now in our phone, in the calendars.
Our phone.
Yeah,
Eric and I
our-
share a phone now.
It's a
Oh,
it's a
so
razor.
It looks so good. People who can't see it, she's, oh my gosh, just perfect smile, and it's balancing perfectly.
Hold on.
Top of your head.
Let's see if I can get the picture. We'll
We need to document this.
definitely. Kaylin, pose it up. Boom.
I'm so honored to be here on Tiny
Goes too late.
Cowgirl / Cowboy / Cowpoke Day.
Cowboy Hat Day. Yes, it's a most righteous of all holidays. We honor it every year now with tiny
Most
little cowboy hats.
numinous of holidays.
I feel special, honestly. I really do.
We thank you so much for joining us on this one. Phoenix, before we get going, is there anything you'd like to plug? Anything that you'd like to shout out?
People can look at me naked if they want on the internet, or they can look at my shit posting and bad jokes, or they can read poems and essays that I sometimes write. My social media accounts are almost all the same, except for Instagram deleted me, so now I have a new Instagram.
Oh, the pain.
It's at PhoenixAskani, and my Instagram is it's Phoenix Askani.
Hell yeah.
So
Awesome.
I'm on all the things and OnlyFans.
Hell yeah. Everyone take a listen. Take a look. Take a listen to what she just said.
Take a gander. You can read serious stuff or you can look at my butt, whichever. It's up to you.
It's all
You can do
serious stuff.
both.
Yeah. Phoenix, that was a blast. Thank you so much. And Caitlin, thank you for giving us a new holiday. And as always, thank you for being the co-host with the Mo-host. I'm going to say goodnight, y'all. Good night, guys.
Good night, partners.
Good night.